there were massive technical issues. I've never ever seen it be so bad. Now I've got to try to find the room. Where is the room? Hold on. Okay. Hopefully, wait. Am I on this one? I don't even know what's going on. Okay, wait. Yay, I'm here. Yay. Okay. I'm so sorry. That was so crazy. So basically, he was trying to tell me that I didn't have this program installed, which you guys know I've used this a billion times. I'm really sorry. That is so weird. That has to be some weird glitch that they had with YouTube, which was telling me I needed to reinstall the whole thing. So then I tried to, and it was like, you already have this installed. And then all of a sudden it just decided to start working once I tried like the third time to start this chat. So I'm so sorry. I see we have new people in the room. So hi to Grant and Chase and CCN Productions. And I have no idea what I was talking about earlier. I really apologize that I got cut off. I don't remember. Do you remember where we were left off? Because I don't remember where I stopped talking. But you guys can let me know what you want to talk about from the finale. But anyway, just to recap, I really did like the finale. I thought it was excellent. The whole series was excellent. I think I would have been really, really surprised by the Bonnie reveal had I not been spoiled, but even so, it was still good. Lionel says Bonnie's past with her abusive father does explain why she was able to identify something was wrong with Celeste and Perry just by their dynamic or body language. Yes, because she kind of caught on to this before anyone else at the party, and she began following them because she knew something was up, and thank goodness that she did. I do think if she hadn't pushed him, one of the other women would have probably done something. I don't know. I mean, as long as he didn't overpower them or push one of them, because he was absolutely crazy. But the problem is apparently the book goes into detail about Bonnie's past and her relationship with her abusive father. And literally we got none of that in the show. So I would say as a criticism that that's something we should have been told, because that really I feel like is an element that was needed to help explain why they chose her as the killer. Fergan says, you wish we'd found out more about the whole bullying. Why did Max bully Amabella? Why did she even start? Or why did he even start? Did he think it was okay to hurt women, girls, because of the fights his parents had? So all along, you know, Celeste was just sure that her kids had never seen the abuse, and I definitely thought that wasn't the case, and I know some of you guys thought that too. So apparently he'd either heard it or seen it, you know, seen and heard it. And I just think he was, I guess, copying his dad, but why? I don't know. I don't know if he actually knew and understood he, you know, was out to hurt girls specifically, or if he thought that was okay, or what the deal was, but we may never know, because there's definitely no guarantees there will ever be a second season for this show. So Grant's asking if we talked about the detective yet, and that was a part for some reason that I spaced out on and didn't catch on to. But when you saw the person looking with binoculars, especially at the end, that was the detective who was in the show, you know, not a big role, but she had a role in the show, and she definitely did not believe that it was an accident that Perry died, which it wasn't. But I'm so glad that the women like collaborated and had the same story, so that nobody, like Bonnie, wasn't going to go to jail for it, because in a way, you know, it was self-defense. Firkin also wishing we found out more about Bonnie's past. Firkin says maybe the detective thing means we will get a second season. So I definitely thought, and maybe the book just ends this way, but with the fact that they were being watched by the detective, and she at the very end was saying this is definitely not, you know, an accident, it definitely felt like a show, an ending to a show that would have more shows, you know, and it wasn't like they knew that they were being canceled or something. Like, I just think it was weird, like, or that they, you know, sometimes shows have like a cliffhanger because they think they're going to have a second season, but this show knows that it wasn't going to continue, I guess. So I'm kind of thinking, they could do something here. I mean, it may just be total wishful thinking, but I did read an article that their ratings were very good for this show. And last week they came in second to The Walking Dead, which, you know, The Walking Dead gets huge ratings. So I think that's, you know, a really good testament to this show, because it's such a popular, I mean, Walking Dead is so popular. So this brand new series, you know, getting that high of ratings, I think that says a lot. Makara says that's something that could be expanded on in season 2 if there is one. Yes, the Bonnie situation, the Bonnie backstory. There's so many things that we could carry over to season 2. Tom and Jane's relationship, Celeste's life with the kids after Perry, the whole situation with Madeline and her affair. Lionel says Renata's husband's Elvis pants. Yes, I really enjoyed all of the Elvis and Audrey Hepburn costumes. Lionel also had a big conflict with Renata's husband. Oh, you said that. I'm sorry. I read that twice because you said it twice, but sorry about that. Perkins says, you thought something was up with Tom. He acted really weird in this episode. So I definitely think we need to talk about that. And I mentioned it at the end of the video. And I don't know what the purpose was of him being weird. Okay, so he was motioning to this guy before the death scene, and I almost thought he was motioning in a way that he was going to hook up with him or something, and I was like, okay, is he really gay? Why are they giving this to us like in the last 10 minutes? I'm so confused. And I started thinking like, is he shady? Is he like not who he says he is? And then at the end, I thought he acted just really bizarre. And I don't understand, like, what is the purpose of this? Because, well, they don't expect for the show to continue once again. So was Tom super weird in the book? Or I knew I wasn't imagining things, like something was weird. Like, wasn't he like motioning to some guy that we didn't know at the party? Makara says, I guess that in the book, Nathan went to the hospital and told the woman about Bonnie's past, and that's why they got their stories together. Okay, so we definitely haven't talked about this scene between Nathan and Ed, which, you know, has been building up, and I thought that it was going to really end in a bad situation, but it didn't really. But Deja says kind of bothered you throughout the show that they brushed off Ed's weird behavior. That's a different topic, actually. I just saw the name Ed. So he was super weird through the show, and I guess those of us who thought he was abusing Abby were wrong. Never went that way, but he did seem strange. But maybe that's just his character. I don't know. Ralph says, technically, Perry didn't fall that far and probably would have only broken a few bones. Was he shot in the book? I don't know why. I had always thought the person would be shot, but maybe I do remember them saying at the beginning of this show that the person had many broken bones. So I guess, you know, the only way I could have thought that he died, I thought he died from falling because he hit his head. Because if you get a bad enough head injury and bleeding on the brain from like falling down those stairs, I would think that would kill you, but I don't really know. Bergen says, I think if you fall a certain way, land a certain way, you can die. Yeah, I just feel like he had head trauma, and that's what caused him to die. But I could be wrong, because I don't feel like they really said what caused him exactly to die. And Firkin's like, why didn't we get everything answered? Why did Ed act weird? And same with Tom. But I really need to, this Tom situation bothers me because I've always thought he was a great guy throughout the show. And then when he stood up for Jane in this episode, I was just like, oh my God, he's amazing. And then he was so weird, but they waited till the last 10 minutes to make him weird. That wouldn't have any problem with that if there was a second season, because I would be like, they're going to get into that next, season. And this is really interesting because maybe he's not who we thought, but we're probably not going to have, a second season. So why did they choose to make him weird at the very end? At least Ed was weird through the whole thing. I don't know. Firkin's wondering if he broke his neck. Yeah, sure. I mean, I think if he just fell on his back and stuff and broke, I think he could have lived. But he either broke his neck or he hit his head and had bleeding on the brain or something. CCN is wondering if he had something stuck in his throat. For those of you who've read the book, maybe they explain exactly how he died. So if you guys are here and want to tell us, maybe that's another element that was just kind of left out of the series. I don't know. Makara says it was Gordon and they had that weird moment because the stuff happened in the cafe. Oh, okay. So it was Renata's husband. It didn't even look like him because he was like Elvis. He was very Elvis-y. Oh, well, never mind then. Okay. But it was so, I don't know. I feel like there was a second moment he was weird. Maybe I'm just seeing weird people who aren't weird. I don't know. But anyway, what else should we talk about? I don't know, kind of between the two different chat rooms. I'm sure something got lost in between the two because I still can't even remember what we were discussing when YouTube shut me down. But yeah, I am so sad to lose this show. The only good thing is that other shows are coming back that I watch. So at least I have that to look forward to because PLL is coming back very soon. And I actually am so involved in 13 Reasons Why. Actually, I'm not because I only watched one episode, but I feel so like I have so much to watch between that and finishing Twin Peaks and then just everything else that I do in my life that's not related to watching TV that I'm just having trouble keeping up with everything. So one more announcement for you guys who haven't started watching 13 Reasons Why. I talked about it a little bit on Twitter this weekend, but it's excellent. It's on Netflix, and I've only watched the first episode, so I'm not going to do videos on it just because too many people spoil my shows, and I really love the show, and I don't want it to be spoiled, and I don't want it to possibly spoil you guys who are following along with me, but I will do a video after I'm finished with everything. Fern says maybe Jane shot Perry afterwards to make sure he was dead. I don't know. I mean, maybe that happened in the books. I really don't know. I know a lot of you guys have finished 13 Reasons Why, and Fatima says that she finished it. I know Ralph said he finished it. Firkin, maybe you finished it. I think you were watching. So it's so good, and I'm just nervous. I'm really nervous about that one, but I'm also nervous about finishing Twin Peaks because I have to do that, and I do like it, but it's like I've got to get that done. But I'm more nervous, I guess, about 13 Reasons Why, because I'm so scared like someone's going to comment something or whatever, and I'll be upset if that gets ruined for me. Like, I just need to watch it. April 18th is PLL. Thank you so much, Deja. And I'm going to do a live show leading up to that day, and I'll let you guys know on Twitter, and I'll try to let you guys know in some other way on my channel for those of you who don't have Twitter. Vanessa watched the first episode yesterday for 13 Reasons Why. It was, I mean, I love it. I think it's so good. And again, I've just seen episode 1. So, but from what everyone's told me that who've watched it all, they really liked it through the whole thing. It almost felt like a movie to me when I watched the first episode. Well, I've watched the first, and I've watched the second, like half of the second one, but I just think it's really good. And I enjoy it when a show like grabs me from the very beginning, because sometimes if I have to really try to get into a show, even though some people will tell me it's like a great show, I just really have trouble with sticking with it, because if I don't get like really sucked into that first episode, it's like, do I want to keep watching this? I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people have told me they were crying through the last episodes, and Fatima says the last few episodes were really emotional. So, yeah. Ralph says there's not much to spoil on 13 Reasons. Okay, and that's the other thing I wanted to kind of mention, but I was afraid to say that because that may encourage somebody who watches this later to want to say something. I was going to say it feels like a show where it's not really spoilable, but I was afraid maybe it is, and if I say that, then a troll is going to be watching this later and be like, but it is because blah, 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 you know, so... but just one more thing on spoilers, apparently, and I talked about this on Twitter, but I haven't had a chance to talk about this to those of you on here who don't have Twitter. There was some sort of script leak that was roaming around the internet this weekend about Riverdale and who the killer of Jason was. And a couple people commented the details of that. And just a heads up, like, I don't know if that's even real or whatever, but I really don't like to know about script leaks or possible spoilers or stuff that's online that's saying like it's someone who used to work with the show and here's what's happened. Just because sometimes they could be true or even not. I just don't like to know about that stuff. So I know a couple people commented this over the weekend, like they were not trying to be rude or trolls, because I know these people. So I just want to let you know I'm not upset with anybody who commented that leak or the details of it. But in the future, I'm just saying, if you do see a script leak or you see something online about something that I'm covering and it's like, you know, so supposedly the killer or supposedly what happens, I really don't want to see that. And I know people who watch my videos read the comments and have told me they don't want to see that either. So if you want to look yourself for spoilers or whatever, that's totally fine. But I would appreciate it if you don't post any kind of potential spoiler or rumors of who is the killer or this, you know, whatever happens, because I'm just not cool with it, because sometimes it could be true. And even so, I don't want to have this idea in my head that this could be true, but maybe it's not. I'm just not, you know, I do kind of feel like it was probably fake. There was a big PLL spoiler back when the last A was revealed that ended up being fake, but it was just like everywhere. So, and it was fake. Deja's currently on episode 5, season 1 of Twin Peaks. You're liking it so far and didn't think you would get into it. Yeah. I really, really love it now, and it did take me a while, but I don't think it takes everyone as long as me. I think I'm just weird when it comes to that show, or the fact that it's in 1990, but I'm glad you're watching it. A lot of other people have told me they're watching it, and I just think we're going to have to watch it if you want to tune into the new season. I don't see us watching the new season and not watching the first 2. Ralph says, you kind of know what's going on, and if you're smart, you can connect the dots very easy. Okay. And that's about 13 Reasons Why. Thank you. So anyway, yes, Fatima's talking about the spoiler about PLL. And I bet that there will be new spoilers about PLL as the final A is revealed. So if you see those, if you're into that kind of thing, that's totally fine. Just please don't tweet me or post. And one more thing on that topic, sometimes it takes me a while to watch a show because even though it might have came out yesterday, I don't necessarily watch it until later in the week. So I noticed some people doing this on Twitter. I know I don't try to be rude, but it's like, if you have watched a show, you may think I've watched it because it came out, that day. But if you're tweeting me like, oh my God, can you believe so-and-so died in this show? It's like, well, I haven't even watched that. So like, I'm trying to, it's very hard. I try to stay away from spoilers, but when people tweet me or whatever, it's like, I read everyone's messages or at messages because I want to reply. So it's like, anyway, just assume I don't know what's going on with shows unless I've made a video on it, just to be safe, because, nobody wants to be spoiled. Deja says, you just love how weird Agent Cooper is. Yeah, I really like him a whole lot. Ralph says the best in season 1 of Twin Peaks is when Shelley is describing Laurel's funeral and laughing about Leland jumping on the casket. I don't think that's a spoiler. So yeah, yes, it is funny. And I'm on season 2 and I'm still like, I think I'm on episode 12. Harley says you're not loving the Riverdale story that's all over the place. Yeah, and I've been told what the possible spoiler is, and to me, it doesn't seem correct or accurate, but again, I'm just going to ignore it and move on. But in the future, hopefully no one will post those kinds of things. CCN says, you think in the book Big Little Lies, Perry fell off a balcony. Okay. So that's interesting. I don't know. So it was a little bit different, I guess, than how they handled it. Vanessa says the only person you hate on Twin Peaks is Leo. Leo is awful and easy to hate, so I can see why. But anyway, if there's anything else you want to talk about Big Little Lies, let me know. If not, we can wrap this up. And I'm very sorry that we had that very strange and long-lasting technical glitch that took forever to resolve, but at least we got over here in a new room. So I'm thinking about doing a video. I need to do a video on this show. I'll try to get that up tomorrow. And on Twitter, I will let you guys know when the Twin Peaks live chat's going to be. What did I think about Madeline in this episode? I think she's, grown up a lot and learned from her mistake of having that affair and realized she really loves Ed, I guess, even though that wasn't that apparent. But yeah, I think she kind of grew as a character. Ralph says the Asian bro dude Reggie is on 13 Reasons. I think I saw him in the first episode. Yes. Deja says you instantly thought of Perry when you saw how he was acting, and she's talking about Leo, and he's just a complete jerk. But that's all I'll say about him, because there's some interesting stuff coming up with him for those of you who haven't seen it. Lionel says the book ended pretty much like this, except Bonnie confesses eventually and she gets community service, which is really interesting because I think they could have that in season 2, because we definitely didn't get that in this episode. Grant says you got so emotional when all the ladies took up for Celeste. I thought that was amazing. And I also really appreciated the scene where Renata was very heartfelt in apologizing to Jane about the bully situation. And I thought that was great. And I know Madeline did too. And she just admitted, she was wrong and she overreacted. So I think that was great. Deja's asking if I think Madeline and Nathan will get along now. Well, I think Madeline has a newfound respect for Bonnie, because I know she didn't really love her before, but I mean, how could you not love her now? That she's going to be so popular with them, for all the right reasons. So I would hope that she could get along with Nathan and kind of mend their fences as well. Firkin says, so Ziggy and the twins are siblings. Yes, that's kind of what we talked about before. And yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think I knew that Laura Dern will be on Twin Peaks. I haven't gotten to that. Oh, she's in the 3rd season, right? Yes. Luckily, Ziggy's nothing like Perry. Absolutely. That's so great. Ralph says that none of those women would serve time for killing Perry due to the situation. That's what I think. I mean, come on. Especially once Celeste came forward and said, she'd been seeing a therapist and this is all the stuff that had been going on and she was getting ready to leave and, all that stuff. So, yes. So, Laura Dern's going to be in the new season of Twin Peaks. I agree with Ralph. Renata was a solid person for apologizing to Jane. She didn't have to do it, but she did it. And it was so genuine. And I really appreciated that scene. I thought that was great. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate everyone for being here. But more than that, I appreciate you guys for coming to the second chat room to talk to me, even though the first one crashed. That's really nice of you, because it's cool I didn't have to like cancel this whole thing. Thank you so much, because I did want to talk about the show. I've loved this show. I will keep my fingers crossed that we get a second season. Again, that's just kind of a rumor at this point, but I would love that so much. So I'm letting you guys know if there is a second one, of course, I will be doing videos. And since there's like no really information in the book, I will be able to do weekly videos on that, because no one can spoil anything because there's not a second, you know, version of the book. So that would be really, really fun. Makara says, so this is the kind of arguing that it's nurture instead of nature that makes people violent. Yes. And Firkin says, no one would have let him hit Celeste eventually. Yeah, he was hitting her a lot. Like, I don't know. But I mean, I think it would be hard to overpower him, but I'm just so glad that she pushed him. And I will keep you posted on the Twin Peaks chat. Absolutely. So I hope you guys have a great day and you've had a great start to your week, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.